President Biden's re-election campaign appears to be in serious trouble. The president is not only facing a formal House impeachment inquiry that was voted on this week, but new poll numbers on his job performance on key issues have plunged to the lowest since he has taken office. Listen to this. Pew Research Center found President Biden's approval rating at just 33%. That's close to the 20s. 64% of respondents said they disapprove of the president's job performance. That same poll found that only 36% believe Biden can make good decisions on economic policy. That's a 20-point drop since 2021. I wonder why. And just 32% are confident that Biden will make good decisions on immigration. Another 20-point drop from 2021. And just 24% said that they were confident that Biden can unite our country. A nearly 25-point drop. Maybe that blood red MAGA speech had something to do with that one. And while the numbers are telling, so are our eyes. It's hard to believe Biden can inspire Americans ahead of 2024 when he continues to fumble in front of the nation. Just yesterday, he gave another gaffe-filled speech where he seemingly forgot the name of the man who introduced him. Can't make it up.
Taxpayers already are chipping in, paying a lot of money for that here at NIH to get these brilliant scientists to go out and find cures, find answers to the drug problem, to drugs, with the use of drugs for health problems. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. I want to thank my introducer.
Nicole, it is hard to believe that that is the leader of the free world that we are watching. This happens time and time again. And just politically, I wonder as a campaign how you can possibly reverse the nation's opinion on the president's acuity when you keep having moments like this.
Right, it's absolutely terrifying. As a citizen, I mean, we look at him and I think that President Biden, he exudes weakness on the world stage. And right now, that is exactly what Americans do not want. We want strength. And you know, Kayleigh, we look and we say, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? It's a very simple question. For me personally, every aspect of my life has deteriorated, I think, along with others. I mean, look at the financial situation of many Americans, Bidenomics. I mean, it's ridiculously false. And the southern border is dangerous. I mean, I'm a Texan, and to see those people flooding across, we have no idea who's in our country. It's one thing after another. We're now into wars. We were not into wars under President Trump. So whether you like President Trump or you hate President Trump or you like Biden, the bottom line is I think most Americans do not feel that they are better off than they were 4 years ago. Mean tweets, people care about their safety, their security, and their pocketbooks, in my opinion.
No doubt about it. I mean, 33% approval, Emily, it is really difficult to wrap your head around that number. I mean, you could see a president get into the high 20s with this. I mean, you are 3 points away, 4 points away from being in the 20s. This is abysmal and a 12-point drop among Democrats since last October.
This only matters, though, if people show up at the ballot box. That's what I find so disheartening, because I can't bridge the delta between these polls and the constant conversations I have with Americans all over the nation where we all feel totally abandoned, where we all feel that policies have absolutely gutted our wallets, our savings, our quality of life, our future, our opportunities. I'm sounding super negative right now, but the whole point is, and then we had the midterms. I mean, so every time I see these polls, I'm like, yeah, of course. Every time I see a thought of him making another gaffe, which to me is absolutely beneath the office of the presidency, every time I see him with another global leader, I am petrified for the future because no one's showing up at the ballot box that needs to. So I think it's incumbent on every American to share these conversations with who you sit next to, share with your family, share with your colleagues and your friends in a respectful way to say, here's how we then change it. Because the only way this is going to change is if we vote that person out of office. And the only way that's going to happen is if people show up. And historically, Republicans do not have that same momentum. The GOP just doesn't. And that is what I find frightening.
Jeremy, that is an incredibly important point that Emily's making, because the CNN poll that showed President Trump basically trouncing Biden in both Georgia and Michigan, a key takeaway I had when I was reading into the details is President Trump's winning a lot of non-2020 voters. Okay, that's a great thing. But non-2020 voters didn't vote in 2020, meaning you have to have a get out the vote operation, meaning you've got to get them to the polls, because polls After all, they're just theoretical until they become reality in the form of a vote.
That's right. I mean, as someone who was a part of that what was supposed to be this red wave in 2022 that ended up being more of like a sprinkle as a candidate who ran in Georgia. I mean, it's very frustrating when you look at the numbers and you say, I mean, how could we not lose? How, us as Republicans, we have all the momentum, we have all the opportunity here. This is our moment. But what happens is exactly what Emily's saying, is that if we can't turn out voters in the way the Democrat Party has mastered the get out the vote campaign.
Yeah, and mail-in voting.
Mail-in voting, early voting, depending on the state, all the ballot harvesting, depending on they have mastered it. Republicans have to catch up. If we can't deliver the way the Democrats are in terms of on actual turning these polls and kind of hypothetical questions into actual votes, we'll see no difference.
Dagan, that's exactly right. You know, I was reading Politico Playbook this morning, and it was an interview with Cornel West, who's going to run third party. And again, the question is, can he get on ballots? You've got to get on ballots. That's an arduous process. But this stood out to me. On Joe Biden's nomination, he said this: I'm not even sure whether I'll be running against Biden. Biden, I think he's going to have an LBJ moment and pull back. I'm just saying that I'm open to those possibilities given the fluidity of the situation. He's running out of gas.
Well, since it's the holiday season, you're at a Christmas party, you have a little drinky drink. Would you hand your keys to Joe Biden to drive you in your own car home for free, or in these tight financial times, would you pay for an Uber? Hands down, you are not letting that man drive your car, not even around the parking lot of Kroger. That's where we are. I don't think it's off base at all for a lot of people to think that he will not run. If you listen to what David Axelrod has said over and over again, what's it going to take for Joe Biden to step out of the way? I don't have the answer to that. But one thing I do know is that we mentioned the approval rating, what, 33%?
33.
Almost in the twos. That whoever runs for the Democrats will represent the same policies that got us to where we are. This commander in calamity and his cohorts inflicted intentional financial pain and suffering on the American people, and for almost 3 years have routinely mocked Americans, telling them, these sadists, telling them what they're experiencing every day isn't real and what they're feeling isn't legitimate. And now the media is piling on board, trying to prop up all these left-wing bats. Consumer prices up 18%, food prices are up 20%, and buying a home has not been this expensive and this difficult in modern history, period.
Yep, well said.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.